Welcome to The Explainer. Let's just dive right in, shall we? Imagine waking up every single day feeling absolutely certain of why you exist. For thousands of years, we've collectively searched for the answer to one massive, overarching question. What is the true purpose of human existence? Now, traditionally, most of us look to the familiar Genesis narrative, right? God created Adam, then Eve, and humanity just began. It's a straightforward timeline. But what if ancient history preserved another explanation? What if there's a forgotten text that doesn't just offer ancient history, but actually serves as a practical map for modern readers who might be feeling, well, a little lost and disconnected? Today, we're going on a journey to unpack an ancient scripture that might just completely change how you understand and live out your everyday purpose.
Why are we here? It's the kind of question that can literally keep you up at night. I want you to really ponder this as we go through today's explainer. Is the life you're living right now, the daily grind, the constant ups and downs, is it all just some random biological occurrence? Or is it intentionally designed by a higher intelligence?
And that leads us to the next inevitable question. Were we created by accident? It really builds this incredible suspense when you stop and think about it. Were we made simply to survive, to gather resources and reproduce? Or were we designed for something far greater, something that humanity has collectively forgotten over the millennia?
Now, we're obviously not the first people to ask these questions. Since the very dawn of civilization, human beings have actively searched for meaning. Across ancient Egypt, Mesopotamia, Greece, and within Hebrew traditions, our ancestors didn't just sit around surviving. No, they built massive temples. They created incredibly intricate sacred rituals. They studied the heavens with intense dedication. All of this effort was to solve one core mystery. Why does humanity exist? And across all these diverse, totally disconnected cultures, one unified idea repeatedly pops up. Human beings were not accidents. Life itself carried a profound divine purpose.
So, among all these ancient scriptures, there's one mysterious text that expands on this idea of divine purpose far beyond what most people know today. It's called the Book of Jubilees. Written over 2,000 years ago, it retells much of the Genesis story, but it includes these vital details that are actually missing from the traditional Bible. It reveals a hidden scripture that completely shifts our entire understanding of human existence.
I absolutely love this quote from the text. Creation was not spontaneous. Everything followed heavenly order. Interestingly, the Book of Jubilees was so deeply revered in antiquity that fragments of it were actually discovered among the famous Dead Sea Scrolls, preserved in desert caves for centuries. So the crucial point here is that humanity was never created simply to occupy space on Earth. According to Jubilees, human beings were created according to divine laws that were already established before history itself even began. Just think about that for a second. Humanity's purpose was mapped out by divine law long before Adam even opened his eyes. We were part of a plan much, much older than civilization itself.
Which brings us to part 1, Bridges to the Divine and Humanity's Sacred Responsibility. The Book of Jubilees suggests humanity was created to literally be a bridge, connecting physical existence to a higher spiritual reality. But how exactly does this text define that role? Well, in Jubilees, humanity isn't just asked to be good. We're specifically tasked with mirroring the rhythms of the angels. For example, the text describes humans as being instructed to observe heavenly Sabbaths and sacred festivals on earth at the exact same time the angels observe them in heaven. We're meant to act as a synchronized reflection of the divine realm. Because we are uniquely conscious beings, capable of understanding divine truth, human existence itself is meant to be a conduit, actively linking the physical world and the spiritual realm through our conscious choices.
Moving on to part 2, the mystery of choice and the burden of free will.
So picture this. On one side, we have animals, totally driven by instinct and biological survival. On the other side, we have humans, equipped with awareness, moral understanding, and the capacity for conscious awakening. Ancient texts repeatedly suggest that humanity was created fully capable of choosing between divine truth and separation from it. Why? Well, because our true purpose is to freely seek higher truth. It's not about forced obedience, right? The Creator didn't want robots. The whole goal is conscious spiritual awakening. And this really implies that human life might be part of a far greater cosmic test than we usually imagine.
Building on that conscious awakening, Hebrew traditions and ancient wisdom texts teach that humans were created in the image of God to reflect something eternal. But what does that actually mean for us today? Think about that heavy sense of burnout or that hollow feeling of disconnection that so many of us experience. When we feel that way, it's often because we're living out of sync with this eternal spiritual identity. We aren't merely biological organisms destined to turn to dust. The Book of Jubilees repeatedly connects our existence with a heavenly order. And when we forget that distinct, eternal, spiritual identity, well, our daily lives start to feel pretty meaningless.
And that perfectly tees up part 3, the great forgetting and modern society's amnesia.
Just take a look around modern civilization. What do people chase today? Success, money, power, status, endless distraction. Think about the modern worker, waking up to an alarm, rushing through traffic, answering 100 emails, and collapsing at the end of the day just to do it all over again. Constantly chasing social validation. It's a totally exhausting cycle. But ancient wisdom suggests we can actually fix this by aligning our daily work with sacred principles. Instead of viewing your job just as a way to make money or gain status, try reframing your daily tasks as acts of service. Whether you're writing code, teaching a class, or driving a truck, you can bring an intention of excellence, kindness, and order to your work. It's all about mirroring that heavenly order we talked about earlier.
You see, ancient civilizations believed existence itself carried sacred meaning. Every single day had a purpose connected to the divine. Compare that to modern society. Yes, we're incredibly technologically advanced. We have smartphones, space travel, AI. But we often ignore our spiritual purpose completely. We've advanced our technology while totally abandoning the existential truths of why we were created in the first place.
We call this spiritual amnesia. It's essentially forgetting the purpose humanity was originally created to fulfill and losing connection with the Creator. What this ancient wisdom is telling us is that humanity's greatest crisis today isn't a political crisis or an economic collapse. No, it's this profound forgetting of who we truly are. To fight this amnesia in our modern daily struggles, ancient wisdom suggests building a list of simple habits to maintain focus on a higher order. It can be as simple as pausing for 5 deep breaths before reacting to a frustrating situation, treating mundane chores as a quiet meditation, or just mentally offering gratitude before starting your workday. These tiny, simple habits help rebuild that connection we've lost.
Because at the end of the day, we are not an accident. We are conscious beings designed to reflect something higher. You, me, all of us, we're a creation carrying a sacred responsibility. To reclaim this purpose and actually serve as that bridge between earth and heaven, you can start with 3 daily rituals to restore a sense of divine connection. First, practice morning stillness, just 5 minutes of pure silence before looking at a screen. Second, practice intentional gratitude throughout the day. And third, engage in evening reflection. Try this reflective journaling exercise tonight. Grab a pen and ask yourself, where did I act as a bridge today? How did I bring peace or order to a chaotic moment? Use these tools to remind yourself that you are meant for a higher order.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a final, slightly provocative thought. Do you believe ancient texts like the Book of Jubilees actually reveal humanity's true purpose, or as history hidden truths we were never meant to fully understand? It's a profound mystery, but armed with new daily rituals and a fresh perspective on your eternal identity, you really don't have to be a victim of spiritual amnesia. I hope this journey has empowered you to reconsider your own existence and sparked a bit of curiosity to live out your sacred purpose. Keep questioning, keep seeking, and remember why you're here.